Hi, and welcome to SCW, the wrestling channel here on YouTube.com. Thank you for choosing the channel and choosing the video. Please subscribe right now. Please like and share the video, and let me know your feelings in the comment section about WWE Super Showdown taking place on Friday in Jeddah. Going to give you my predictions quickly through the match card. I am a little bit lackluster when it comes to this event, but I'm going to try not to remain too negative. Mainly looking at the match card, I just feel it's a bit flat. Some of the feuds for me are not quite working out, and as well, I mean, this kind of feels it's supposed to be as big, if not bigger, than WrestleMania. Well, for me, bringing back these old legends and having these these big time matches, they are very 10, 15 years ago, and I think it's a big problem within wrestling today is that I think that WWE has not really spent that time where they could have used those legends to build and make new stars, which we used to see in the old generations. We used to see that passing of the torch done a lot more often in those times where we had sort of, Randy Orton and John Cena, on top of the card for like 10, 15 years, and no one really taking them off there till Roman Reigns come along. We have not really seen that much transition. We used to have so many different big stars at the top, and now it feels that WWE has to have these nostalgia acts. Now, I know this is the show that's in Jeddah, and perhaps this is a request of the superstars they want to see, because that's perhaps who they remember, which is, of course, some of the biggest stars of all time. But at the same time, I would like to see the emphasis put more on some of the younger talent and trying to build and make new stars. So I think that's one of the real key things that will make wrestling popular again, when you've got more than just Roman Reigns, more than just Seth Rollins, when you have maybe about 5 or 6 real big credible superstar names that maybe then perhaps going forward we will perhaps feel less pressured when we see this main event scene that we've currently got, and thinking, well, are the people in there currently right or wrong? But I'm going to start off with my predictions with the WWE Championship, because actually we mentioned all this, and Kofi Kingston is currently the WWE Champion, which you could say counteracts everything that's been just said, but at the same time, it's one of those rare occasions where someone massively gets over, and has actually given the ball to run with it. We've seen with the likes of Rusev in the past, where he's had Rusev Day massively over. He's not even on television. He's not even used. So it's great to see Kofi Kingston has been given this chance, given the championship, and I think he's doing a great job of it so far. And actually, this is one of the real feuds, and why I've gone for this match first, because it's a positive start for me on this. Him and Dolph Ziggler, for me, has been a decent program. Now, okay, yes, when Dolph initially did the first attack on Kofi Kingston and did the steel chair around the neck, that used to put people out for a long time back in the old days. Now, I understand that in the modern era of wrestling, we're not supposed to believe that these guys will be out for 4 to 6 months, maybe even a year, when this sort of thing happened. But to actually still walk out on the same show made it feel a little bit flat for me. But at the same time, the promo work for Dolph Ziggler has been fantastic. Kofi is being built up now to be a strong champion. He's beating a lot of superstars and really starting to have a lot of momentum going his direction, which makes me feel that we need to keep that momentum going forward. And Kofi here, for me, is the guy that will be winning this match. It feels that it's perfectly set in the balance of it should have been me to, well, it is me. And Kofi is the one that is the champion, and I think he will remain champion coming out of Jeddah. Next, we'll stay with the SmackDown side of things, and we're going to look at the Intercontinental Championship. Finn Balor, the Demon, should I say, Finn Balor, taking on Andrade. Now, for me, it should be an interesting encounter. I think this is probably most likely going to kick the show off, and I think would be a great candidate to do so as well. 2 very good wrestlers in the ring there. I'm looking forward to seeing what could be presented, and of course, the Demon character is undefeated still on the main roster, so I expect that to continue. My only sort of hope is that we do see more of the Demon, throughout the year. I'd like to see him used more often, but the only thing I would say in a negative term for the Demon on this particular occasion is I'm not sure the purpose and the reason and the need for the Demon. There's not really a big feud with these two, so the need to have to bring the Demon out for me just feels, I'm not sure. If we got it on every pay-per-view like we used to with NXT on their takeovers, then I would kind of get it. But it feels to me here that it wasn't really needed for the Demon. But still, the Demon is here. For me, it makes it a clear victory for Finn Balor and still Intercontinental Champion. Looking through else in the card then, we're going to look at the Lucha House Party versus Lars Sullivan. Now, it was a 3-on-1 match, a handicap match. I think that this is massively unfair. Lucha House Party need more guys here. They're not going to survive in this very well. This is a showcase. Lars Sullivan's first official match in WWE on the main roster anyway, and expect him to pick up the victory. Nothing more needs to be said here. This is just simply to put Lars over. We're going to look at Braun Strowman versus Bobby Lashley. Now, an arm wrestling contest is not the way I wanted to see this built up. For me, the arm wrestling thing is so 1980s. I don't want to see it in the modern era. I understand WWE wants to be different, and they haven't done an arm wrestling competition for a while, but still, it did nothing for me. For me, looking at the match itself, I see Braun Strowman going over. Bobby Lashley has been badly booked, you could argue, since probably nearly a year ago when he beat, I believe it was Extreme Rules, maybe. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. He beat, definitely the July pay-per-view, he beat Roman Reigns. And it felt like Bobby Lashley was going to be the guy to go on to go for the Universal Championship at SummerSlam. Now, he wasn't given an opportunity. He lost the next night to Roman Reigns. And it just feels like he's been a bit of an afterthought ever since. He's kind of been just someone that's there and thereabouts in the mid to upper mid-card area, and seems to be the one that seems to job a lot. And I think they could get more mileage out of Lashley if they really put some stock and investment into him. But I've not seen him do that, and nothing convinces me that he will be beating Braun at this Super Showdown event. So I'm going to go for Braun Strowman to pick up the W. Next, we'll look at Roman Reigns versus Shane McMahon, and I expect Drew McIntyre will probably be in the corner. There could be some more interference from this as well. I mean, we've seen the Revival, Elias, all have been sort of involved on Shane McMahon's side, really, going into this event against Roman Reigns. So you wouldn't be surprised if a little trick was pulled out here from somewhere. But for me, knowing that the next pay-per-view, Stomping Grounds, we've already got it announced that it'll be Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre, it just feels to me that Roman Reigns is not going to go for a shock defeat here. Roman Reigns has been suffering, you could argue, this week on TV as well, thanks to Shane McMahon and the numbers game. I expect Roman to find a way to overcome the odds magically and win against Shane McMahon, the best in the world, so he says anyway. What I would say about this feud is that I've been okay with it. I've got nothing against the feud. It's been built now for a number of weeks. My only real criticism with it is the wildcard rule. Now, with that, it means that both guys have been on both shows for a number of weeks, which for me means that we've kind of been really forced down our throats. We've not had this sort of moment where it's been 10, 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes of a TV show once a week, and then we can kind of move on to the next segment. It seems to be a heavily featured segment on every single program on WWE for the last few weeks. So for me, I feel that fans have turned on it a little bit, and I can understand why. So that's kind of my feeling with the feud. And the sad part with it as well was that with the wildcard rule, it's probably going to continue going forward. As we say, Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre is for Stomping Grounds. If you believe advertisements, then we're expecting a handicap match, Roman Reigns versus Shane McMahon and Drew McIntyre at the Extreme Rules pay-per-view in July. So it looks like this feud isn't going anywhere just yet. But what I would say is that the Superman punch of Roman Reigns and the spear, and I expect Roman Reigns to pick up the victory. Next, I'll look at one of the Legends matches. Triple H versus Randy Orton is going to be taking place on the card. I actually really enjoyed the promo, Royce. I give the negative at the start of the video there, but do you know what? I actually enjoyed the back and forth between them. It just felt a little bit more casual on the mic, a little bit less scripted. I like the fact that they went below the belt, let's say, with the promo. It was quite fun to watch, and you could kind of see that both of them wanted to laugh as well. I don't know, I just had a good feeling. It was a good vibe watching that promo, but to see the match itself, it's probably going to be slow. I'm not expecting fireworks from these two. I mean, their best work was done a decade ago, and the build-up promo videos of these guys, you show that the feud hasn't really had any steam to it for 10 years, and of course it started in 2003, believe it or not, with these two a part of Evolution. It feels we've had an Evolution, rivalries renewed this year. We had Triple H and Batista at WrestleMania. We've now got Triple H versus Randy Orton at the Super Showdown. I think the best thing here is Randy Orton to pick up the victory, just purely because he's still active on the main roster, week in and week out, and I think he could do with a rub here, and I think him beating Triple H, particularly if it's a high-profile match on the card as well, I think helps Orton, and perhaps maybe, again, rumours going around that could be a match with him and Roman Reigns at SummerSlam, where if that is going to be true, then Randy Orton could do with a victory. I know there's, wins and losses are supposed to not mean anything in WWE these days, but, looking at it, I just think it would be best for business to take one of Triple H's quotes. So Randy Orton picking up the victory for me. Next, I will look at the 50-man Battle Royal, the greatest Battle Royal. Of course, there has to be something greatest in Jeddah. We had the greatest Royal Rumble this time last year, and now it's the greatest Battle Royal. 50 superstars. I'm guessing guys that are not involved in the card elsewhere are going to be thrown into this Battle Royal. And we're probably looking as well, maybe some NXT guys, NXT UK, 205 Live. We may even see some, local Saudi Arabian talents maybe in the Battle Royal. It would be interesting to see him. There is one that was on NXT. I believe his name was Mansoor. And he picked up a victory not too long ago. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him actually in the Battle Royal, perhaps even do fairly well. The only thing I would say about this Battle Royal is that we don't know people who are in it. There was only 5 names announced on Raw, which were the Usos, the Revival, and the Miz. So if you were the judge of that, you would say the Miz would be the best shout. But literally, this could go to anyone. But I would expect the likes of, lots of other talents, Cesaro, Ricochet, Apollo Crews, a lot. Ali probably would be a good shout, to be in the Battle Royal. It'd be interesting to see who is going to pick up a victory. And really, it is hard to make a prediction of who you think will win this match, particularly when you don't know who is going to be in it. But if I'm going to have to stick my neck out, I think that I'm going to go for one superstar potentially from Raw and one from SmackDown, and then I think that I'll make an overall prediction. I would like to see Cesaro win it, and he would be my Raw pick, purely because I think he is someone who could do with a push. Now he's on the singles run. I think that he has got potential to be, top of the card. I think he's got all the tools there. So I would like to see him, start to get some momentum. And he did win a Battle Royal, the first ever Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal back at WrestleMania 30, which is going back a few years now. So it would nice to see to give him a rub once again. But for a SmackDown pick, I'm actually going to go for Ali. Now I know he's small in stature, and he's not the guy that perhaps would be believable to win a Battle Royal of that many people. But at the same time, he has been someone who was supposed to be in the WWE Championship picture. He was supposed to win Money in the Bank and have done some last-minute changes. He's going to get a rub and a big win somewhere to give him that momentum. So I'm going to throw my money on Ali, and he's going to be my overall prediction, just purely because of the fact that I think that somewhere he gets a big win. And you could argue that winning this isn't really going to mean a lot. So I don't think it would be too much harm if he was to win it and not much was to come of it. But also I think that it would give him some of that momentum back, which perhaps he was supposed to get earlier this year before he got injured and Kofi took his spot. Next, I'm going to look at the Universal Championship match, Seth Rollins versus Baron Corbin. Quite simple. Seth Rollins here was beaten up by Brock Lesnar on Raw this week and taken out in an ambulance. For me, that makes it all seem like, well, Baron Corbin clearly will be the victor. Seth Rollins is going to retain here. He's not going to lose. And Brock Lesnar is now saying he's going to cash in on Friday. My wonder is if he's actually going to cash in on the Universal Champion, because although the storylines suggest that Seth Rollins is the guy he's going to go for, there's no reason why he can't go for Kofi. I would be interested to see if he was to come out, maybe depending on which ordering of the match. Say Seth Rollins Corbin was before Kofi and Ziggler. Maybe there could be an idea that Brock could come out and sort of look at Seth and say, do you know what? Not tonight either. I'm not feeling it. And just, really play that idea with Seth and then actually just come out and surprise everyone after Kofi wins. But we'll have to wait and see. I actually hope that Brock is a failed cash-in, whichever champion he goes for. But I can't see that happening. The Beast has been booked too strong over the years. And it feels like that Brock is going to be holding on to this briefcase until he actually cashes in and wins. I don't see him losing. But it'll be interesting to see. But to actually look at the respective matches, the match here to predict right now is Seth Rollins and Corbin. I'm going to go for Rollins to win. Last but certainly not least, two legends, first time ever, perhaps 15, 20 years too late, but hey, we're getting it anyway. We never thought we'd see it, we are going to see it. The Undertaker versus Goldberg. Now, again, the Undertaker's promo on Raw was kind of cut off before, the show finished, before he got a chance to finish. We saw it, the finish of it on SmackDown. We saw a face down between them. I actually enjoyed Goldberg's promo on SmackDown as well. I just kind of feel that hopefully that this will be better than what I kind of hope and picture in my head. I've just got this feeling that we've got long entrances and then we're going to have two guys that are going to struggle to carry out a match at this point, because it feels both of them are long past their prime and probably not going to be able to hold down a match. And I feel a shorter match is better than a longer match. If we've got a 20-minute match between these two, God, it could be quite painful to watch, but I think that perhaps let them do the big entrances, both of them down down the aisle. They start the match off, 5-minute match, hit the big moves, spear, jackhammer, kick out, chokeslam, tombstone, kick out. Whoever gets their next one, the victor. And to make my prediction for the person that gets that, The Undertaker. The Undertaker is a WWE creation. Goldberg, WCW creation. For me, there's only one winner, The Undertaker. And I don't know if Goldberg will be doing any more matches after this. So, for me, there is only one winner, and that for me would be The Phenom. So that's my predictions for WWE Super Showdown in Jeddah on Friday. Let me know your predictions in the comments below right now. Please like and share the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. And enjoy the show. And I'll see you next time here on SCW.